Jen Yager, How to Finish Everything You Start. Habits to Transform Your Life. It's easy to start something, a new project, a fitness plan, or even a book. But finishing it? That's the hard part. Countless people begin with enthusiasm, only to find themselves stuck midway, surrounded by half-finished goals. Why does this happen so often? Sometimes it's about distractions, sometimes it's fear of failure, and sometimes it's simply taking on too much at once. Finishing isn't just a matter of effort. It's about focus, smart decisions, and knowing when to quit or persevere. In this blink, you'll learn how to finish what you start by understanding why tasks often go unfinished, how to manage priorities, avoid overcommitment, and make thoughtful choices about what deserves your time. Whether you're someone who struggles with procrastination or gets overwhelmed by too many responsibilities, these strategies will help you complete more and leave less undone. Why you keep getting stuck before finishing. Have you ever started a project only to find it lingering unfinished for weeks or even months? You're not alone. Many people face this issue, so much so that it's been labeled a failure to finish epidemic. The constant accumulation of incomplete tasks is frustrating and can harm both your personal and professional life. One major cause of this problem is distraction-itis, where endless interruptions, whether from emails, social media, or other obligations, prevent sustained progress on any single task. At work, this can damage your reputation and even risk your job, while in personal life, unfinished goals can create lingering dissatisfaction, like moving into a new home but never unpacking the boxes. In a survey of over 200 people that the author conducted, common unfinished tasks included writing a book, completing a degree, or even getting married. Interestingly, 39% found it easier to start a project than to finish one, and only 19% said the opposite. This tendency to initiate rather than follow through reflects a broader struggle with completion. To better understand your own finishing patterns, take a moment to reflect on your habits and behaviors. Are you frequently overcommitted, distracted, or stuck in a cycle of perfectionism? List 10 ongoing tasks or projects. Then ask yourself why they remain unfinished. Consider whether you often say yes when you wish you had said no, procrastinate despite knowing what needs to be done, or lose focus due to constant interruptions. This kind of self-assessment helps you identify specific obstacles that may be holding you back. By recognizing patterns like these, you'll gain clarity on what's preventing you from finishing and be in a better position to improve your follow-through. Finishing what you start builds confidence, reduces stress, and helps you move forward with clarity. By identifying why tasks remain incomplete, you'll be better equipped to see them through and experience the satisfaction of completion. Psychological blocks that hold you back. What causes some tasks to drag on endlessly, while others get completed without a second thought? It's not always about motivation. Sometimes it's the subtle beliefs and habits we carry that stop us from finishing. There are some common behaviors that can sneak up on you, leaving a trail of half-finished projects and missed opportunities. Fear of failure is a common blocker. You might avoid finishing a project because it's easier to deal with the idea of unfinished work than risk it being criticized. Ironically, not finishing guarantees failure. To combat this, visualize both the worst and best outcomes. Imagine how you'd handle disappointment, and remind yourself that even successful people face setbacks. On the flip side, fear of success, worrying about outshining others, or managing higher expectations can lead to similar delays. Recognize these fears and push forward anyway. Perfectionism can be another trap. If you find yourself endlessly tweaking a task, ask whether those extra changes really add value. Aiming for good enough rather than perfect is often the more practical choice. Remember, finishing something allows you to improve over time, while waiting for perfection keeps you stuck. Procrastination often points to underlying issues like resentment or uncertainty. If you're stuck, try listing what's causing the delay and think about how to address it. Poor planning also plays a role when tasks take longer than expected. A good rule is to add 25% more time to your initial estimate to create a realistic deadline. By recognizing these habits and adopting practical strategies, you'll be more likely to complete what you start and feel accomplished instead of overwhelmed. The problem with taking on too many tasks at once. Ever felt like you have way too much on your plate and can't seem to finish anything? You're not alone. In a survey of over 200 people, more than 30% admitted that having too much to do was the main reason they left tasks unfinished. Trying to juggle numerous responsibilities without a clear strategy often leads to overwhelm, incomplete projects, and stress. The problem begins when you attempt to tackle everything at once. You might start with a to-do list of 10, 20, or even more tasks, only to find yourself paralyzed by the sheer number of things to do. Without prioritization, it's nearly impossible to make meaningful progress. The solution? Streamline your focus by identifying what truly needs your attention right now. Concentrating on one task at a time, or at least minimizing multitasking, boosts your chances of finishing more effectively. Overcommitment is another major issue. Often people find it hard to say no, leading to unrealistic workloads. Learning to politely turn down requests without damaging relationships is a vital skill that helps reduce unnecessary responsibilities. Additionally, being busy isn't inherently bad. What matters is whether your busyness is productive or chaotic. Maintaining a balanced workload and pacing yourself is far more effective than trying to work nonstop. Here's a quick exercise. First, make a list of everything you have to do. Next, circle the 3 most urgent tasks. Then identify 3 tasks you genuinely want to do. Use this list to prioritize and focus your energy on what matters most. By managing your workload strategically, saying no when necessary, and focusing on one task at a time, you'll reduce stress and increase your likelihood of completing what you start. Use deadlines to boost productivity and motivation. Deadlines often get a bad reputation. Many people see them as stressful constraints. But when used correctly, deadlines can be valuable tools that keep you motivated and organized. Without deadlines, tasks can easily fall into an open-ended limbo, never reaching completion. That's why it's helpful to stop viewing deadlines as obstacles and start treating them as a framework for progress. If someone gives you a task without a due date, set one yourself. Deadlines aren't just for final submissions. Breaking large projects into smaller tasks with interim deadlines ensures steady progress and prevents last-minute scrambling. Be aware of unrealistic deadlines. Committing to tight timelines may seem like the only way to secure a project or please a client, but it often backfires, causing rushed and lower quality work. On the flip side, deadlines set too far in the future can result in procrastination. The key is finding a realistic balance that keeps you focused without overwhelming you. Here's a helpful exercise. Think of 3 unfinished projects. Do they have deadlines? If not, assign one now. Then break each project into smaller parts, creating interim deadlines for each. Make sure the timeline feels achievable, challenging but not stressful. This approach helps you stay motivated and track progress without the pressure of a single looming due date. When used effectively, deadlines can be a positive force. They help you prioritize, stay on track, and finish tasks with confidence. Shifting your mindset toward viewing deadlines as helpful, not stressful, can make all the difference in improving your productivity. A practical method to finish what you start. Many tasks start with enthusiasm but end up abandoned when focus fades or distractions creep in. That's where the finish approach comes in. A practical framework designed to help you overcome distractions, procrastination, and lack of focus, and finally complete those lingering tasks. Each letter in the acronym represents a step toward steady progress and successful task completion. Start by focusing on one priority task at a time. Trying to tackle too many things at once leads to scattered efforts and unfinished work. Choose what's most important and commit to it. Next, ignore interruptions and distractions. While unavoidable interruptions happen, you can control how you react to them. Once you've handled a disruption, return to your task without delay. Reduce self-imposed distractions by setting clear boundaries. Do you really need to check your phone every 5 minutes? The now step reminds you to stop putting things off. If procrastination is your default, commit to working on the task immediately, no excuses. Then, initiate action and innovate ways to keep yourself going. Use tools like timers to stay focused and reward yourself after each productive session. Persistence is key, which is why you must stay the course. There will be moments when finishing feels tough, but sticking with it is what leads to results. Finally, hail finishing by celebrating your success. Whether it's small or big, completing a task is worth acknowledging. To apply FINISH, pick an unfinished task, follow each step, and track your progress. With practice, this method will help turn starting into finishing and make it a habit you can stick to. Master goal setting and prioritization for productivity. Effective goal setting isn't just another overhyped productivity hack. It's a fundamental tool for getting things done in a world full of distractions. Without clear priorities, it's easy to find yourself overwhelmed, tackling too many tasks and making little progress on any of them. The solution? Thoughtful goal setting, combined with smart prioritization techniques. Start by defining your goals with precision. Borrowing from the SMART framework, ensure your goals are specific, measurable, assignable, realistic, and time-related. For example, instead of saying, "I want to improve my productivity," define a goal like, "I will complete the market analysis report by Friday at 5 p.m. and have it reviewed by my colleague." This approach eliminates ambiguity and provides a clear target to aim for. Once your goals are set, prioritization is key. Not every task carries the same weight or urgency. A useful tool for sorting tasks is the time management matrix. It divides tasks into 4 categories, those that are both urgent and important, which you should tackle right away. Important but not urgent, which you can schedule for later. Urgent but less important tasks, which are best delegated. And tasks that are neither urgent nor important, which you can minimize or skip altogether. Another helpful concept is Pareto's 80-20 rule. Focus your efforts on the 20% of tasks that yield 80% of your results. To stay on track, try applying the action method. Assess your tasks, control distractions, target specific priorities, innovate by seeking new solutions, organize your work environment, and tackle tasks now rather than later. Ultimately, goal setting and prioritization aren't about rigid control, but about focusing your time and energy where it matters most. By using these methods, you'll be more likely to finish what you start and move closer to achieving what's truly important to you. Say no effectively to focus on what matters. Saying yes to every request might seem like the right thing to do, especially if you've been taught that helping others builds goodwill or boosts your reputation. But constantly agreeing to more than you can handle often leads to overwhelm, unfinished tasks, and frustration. The ability to say no politely without burning bridges is a skill worth developing if you want to protect your time and focus on what truly matters. One reason people hesitate to say no is fear of rejection. Others worry that turning down a request might offend or damage relationships. But agreeing to everything isn't sustainable. Instead, aim to say no in a way that acknowledges the other person's request while making it clear you need to prioritize your existing commitments. For instance, saying, "I'd love to help, but I need to finish a few projects first. Can we revisit this later?" lets you decline without shutting the door entirely. If declining on the spot feels difficult, buy yourself time. Respond with, "Let me think about it and I'll get back to you." This gives you space to assess your workload and decide whether accepting makes sense. Consulting a trusted colleague or friend can also help if you're unsure. To avoid overcommitment, rehearse some go-to responses, such as offering alternatives or suggesting someone else who might help. Practicing respectful refusal will boost your confidence when requests come up. The ability to say no gracefully allows you to protect your time and energy for the tasks that matter most. By focusing on what's truly important, you increase your chances of finishing key priorities and maintaining balance in both your work and personal life. Make intentional choices about what to quit and what to finish. Sometimes quitting is the wisest choice. Picture finding yourself midway through a major project, continuing only because giving up feels like failure. The reality is that not every task or goal is worth completing. Knowing when to step away and making thoughtful, deliberate decisions about where to invest your time and effort can lead to better outcomes. Quitting can be a strategic decision. If you find yourself stuck, pause and ask, "Is this something I really want or need to complete?" The key is to separate deliberate quitting, based on thoughtful evaluation, from abandoning tasks due to frustration, procrastination, or fear. Think about whether your time and effort are better spent elsewhere. Research supports the idea that thoughtfully choosing what to finish can be more effective than pushing through everything. The Hemingway effect, named after author Ernest Hemingway, who advised stopping writing while still knowing what happens next, suggests that when people leave tasks unfinished but close to completion, their motivation to return and finish them increases. In a study that interrupted participants before they could fully complete a task, those who were closer to the end reported a stronger desire to finish it later. This finding implies that if you're struggling to complete a project, pushing yourself to make tangible progress, so that it feels almost done, can reignite your motivation and drive. Make a list of tasks that are almost done and tackle those first. Then, reevaluate your original to-do list. Decide what's truly important and what can be left behind. The goal isn't to finish everything, it's to finish what matters. By making conscious choices about what to quit and what to complete, you'll free up energy for tasks that genuinely deserve your attention. The main takeaway of this link to How to Finish Everything You Start by Jan Yager is that finishing is about focusing on what truly matters. By understanding common obstacles like procrastination, overcommitment, and lack of prioritization, you can develop strategies to manage your time and energy more effectively. Setting clear goals, using deadlines as motivators, and confidently saying no to unnecessary tasks help keep you on track. Thoughtful decision-making allows you to recognize which tasks deserve your attention and which can be left behind. With a clear plan and consistent effort, you'll increase productivity and enjoy the satisfaction of completing meaningful work. See you in the next Blink.